Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for our second plenary session of today's event, Circular Cities. I would like to request the following speakers to please come up on stage to take their seats. Requesting Professor Akhtar Mahmood, Department of Urban and Regional Planning, Jahangirnagar University, Bangladesh, to please come up. Ms. Kristen Strandberg, City Strategist, Circle Economy, requesting you to please come up. Engineer Taksim A. Khan, Managing Director and CEO, Dhaka Wasa, Bangladesh, requesting you to come up. Requesting Muhammad Ashraful Islam, Chief Town Planner, Capital Development Authority, to come up. Also requesting Dr. Abdul Hamid, Director General, Department of Environment, Ministry of Environment, to please come up. And requesting Morten Lehman, co-founder and CEO of Tailwind, to please come up to moderate the session. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our honorable panelists on stage.
Welcome all of you. I'm very excited to be here today. Now we've started out the day with having some grounding on what circularity is, what does it mean for the global economy, for the local economy, and now we are looking into cities. Globally, we live more and more in cities. Kristen will speak more about this. And Dhaka, having traveled here over the last 20 years, I, of course, have seen the city grow. We've heard this morning from the mayor that 2,000 people are displaced every day coming into Dhaka. His challenge, how do we make that life safe and create well-being for them? So how do we do this? Do we just build more roads, taller buildings to create a prosperous Dhaka, or are there other solutions? These are some of the questions we dig into today. Can we close the loop on the city of Dhaka? I can tell you, coming from Copenhagen, it requires a lot more than all the R's, as we discussed today. The ambassador said it's also about attitude. I can tell you, having 5 bins, having to recycle every day, having your family to do that is not an easy task. It doesn't just automatically happen. It requires a lot, but also there are some big benefits ahead of us. So I'm very happy today to have an esteemed number of people that represents all the local knowledge. How do we translate circularity into Bangladesh, into the city of Dhaka, having both the water and sewage, we have the university, we have the city planner and the Ministry of the Environment as well. So thank you very much. But to kick us off and to make sure we are grounded in what's happening globally also, we have Kristen, who is an expert on this, coming from circular economy, to give us a little presentation on what is happening out there and what can we learn from that. And after that, we'll translate it into what happens in Dhaka. But welcome, Kristen.
Good. There we go. Hi, everyone. Very nice to be here today. Wonderful. My name is Christine Strandberg, and I work as a city strategist at the not-for-profit organization Circle Economy that Ola also just represented. So I will present just briefly what circular economy means for cities. So, Circle Economy is a not-for-profit organization. We strive to contribute to a prosperous world of finite resources to accelerate the transition to a circular economy. And in order to achieve this, it is our mission to deliver practical and scalable circular economy solutions to the world. So we empower global communities of cities, nations and businesses through sharing knowledge, but also building tools, conducting research, and connecting change agents with the goal to achieve business transformation and the upscaling of the circular economy. So, why should we focus on circular economy in cities? Why are cities important for this transformation? Well, cities are the drivers of global change and the center of our global economy. Cities cover only about 3% of our land areas, but hosts about 55% of our global population. This number is even expected to grow to 70% by the year 2050. Cities are also concentrated hotspots for innovation and creativity, generating about 80% of our global GDP. And if we look into Bangladesh, the patterns are very similar. Currently, about 39% of Bangladesh's population live in cities, but the number is increasing at a staggering stage, with about 3% urban decrease each year. And this means that the city of Dhaka is actually adding the whole population of Amsterdam to its urban population every single year. And we can also see on a national level that Dhaka is an important hotspot for innovation, creativity, and businesses, where about 40% of the national GDP is generated in Dhaka alone. But at the same time, even if cities have the capacity to drive global change, they are still the major contributor to global and environmental degradation. Cities consume about 2/3 of our global energy, are responsible for 70% of the greenhouse gas emissions, and 70% of our global material extraction, as well as 60 to 70% of our global waste. The impacts, they don't end there. Urban sprawl, they transform landscapes, thereby affecting ecosystems and biodiversity, and adding to environmental pollution. Moreover, the cities, they go beyond our boundaries of the city, as the products that we consume in our cities have been transported from elsewhere. So it's therefore critical that the circular economy is fundamentally integrated into our urban agendas. So when we speak about the cities, what do we actually refer to? Well, cities are a complex set of systems. The city is being shaped through a complex interplay of use, actions, and interventions by the various urban users, such as residents, but also visitors, entrepreneurs, developers, and professionals from the public and private sector, as well as civil society organizations. But maybe the most important for cities. It is also the place where probably every single one here lived your life, meet your family, your friends, your loved ones, but also enhance your career and live in your houses. So regardless of the size of a city or where we are in the world, cities provide citizens with a set of services that we all need to live and thrive. So these include systems such as housing, mobility, food, energy, water, waste, industry, and other economic opportunities. The circular economy can offer solutions to all of these systems, but to be meaningful, the planning and implementation of these systems need to be integrated across departments. The urban complexity with multiple dimensions cannot be single-treated and cannot be addressed by limited or single-system approaches. So, what does it mean when we speak about circular cities? So, just like in a circular economy, in a circular city, we need to redesign resource flows that are kept at their highest potential for as long as possible. This can be done through sharing, but also reusing, repairing, remanufacturing, recycling, and rethinking the status quo of our urban environments. These core elements of circularity, they need to be embedded within each of the key urban systems, such as water to housing, infrastructure to food, and to nutrition. For instance, in a circular city, assets and products are shared or leased, energy production is renewable and clean, buildings are modular or designed to be deconstructed or reused rather than demolished. Industries, they share their byproducts through industrial symbiosis, and mobility systems, they are clean and shared. But why should cities aim at all this? We have found that the benefits to a circular city is multiple. Circular economy intervention can help build back cities better and become more resilient. So, for example, circular principles, they can ensure a more environmentally friendly city where access to resources are improved locally by recycling and reusing materials, which also reduces the dependence on imports in global supply chains. Circular principles can also lower greenhouse gas emissions and air pollution by prioritizing regenerative energy sources, such as solar power, but also prioritizing sustainable transportation modes, such as public transport and bike and walk infrastructure. Circular principles can also improve waste management and saving on landfilling costs by using waste as a resource. Finally, for all this, we need new ways of working and new products. We can spur innovation and create new jobs, increasing the competitiveness in global markets. But however, cities cannot do this alone. As we have seen, circular interventions can be very complex and they can link a multitude of systems and sectors together. A circular city needs to promote the transition from a linear to a circular economy across the urban space in collaboration with residents, but also with organizations and businesses and the research community. Each stakeholder will play a critical role in the creation of a circular city. For example, the city governments, they can put rules and regulations that will support the circular economy across the city government structure. Private sector, they can adopt circular business model and practices, and civil society can influence individuals to make more circular consumption choices. So by working together, a systemic circular transition can be ensured with shared ownership across the stakeholders. So I will round up very quickly. So how does this work in practice? What actions can cities actually take to implement the circular economy on the ground? We at Circular Economy, we have developed a framework to explain all this, together with the organizations Ellen MacArthur Foundation, Metabolic, and ICLEI. We call this the Circular City Actions Framework. So to add on the all R frameworks that we've seen today, we have another one, the 5R framework. This means rethink, regenerate, reduce, reuse, and finally recover. So these are 5 complementary areas to start moving towards a more circular system. Basically, it expands on the 3R that we all know so well of, reduce, reuse, recycle, that we've heard a lot about today, but it moves beyond waste management by including actions like rethink and regenerate that happens even before we extract minerals and materials, or like reduce and reuse that helps us avoid waste to begin with. So now I will just end up with 5 examples from around the world how this is implemented in reality. If we start with rethink, it means to redesign our systems. It means structurally support circular systems, rethink how value chains are organized, and phase out linear incentives. For example, we have a bus rapid transit system between the 2 cities, Indian cities of Hubballi and Dharwad. I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrongly. So the bus rapid transit system ensures that a dedicated lane is created only for bus use. So this ensures that buses are not stuck in traffic congestion and thereby favoring the use of public transport instead of car use. So between the 2 cities of Hubballi and Dharwad, the new buses now run every 5 minutes along the 22 kilometers, which half the ordinary transportation time for the workers. Moving on to regenerate, which means ensuring that all interventions positively contribute to the environment and its nutritious cycles and ecosystems. So, for example, we have China's Sponge City program, which is an ambitious initiative aimed at addressing the urban water management challenges in China, such as flooding, water pollution, and water scarcity. The program seeks to transform cities into sponge cities by implementing a range of nature-based solutions and innovative technologies to manage and utilize water management more sustainably. And then we have reduce, which means doing better with less. Here we refer to the design of infrastructures, processes, and products to reduce material use, limit energy consumption, and alleviate waste generation, both during production but also at the end of the product's lifespan. So industrial symbiosis is a great example of doing better with less, where the waste of one byproducts by one company can be used as input for another. So established in 1991 in the city of Radisson in China, the Eco-City Park, REDA, was part of the first wave of industrial symbiosis parks in China. They have incorporated byproduct exchanges and sharing of infrastructure into the core business models of these industrial parks. So these clusters of symbiotic exchanges are part of the dynamic networks of material and energy flows. For example, a fertilizer factory is fed with byproduct of sugar from a beer factory. A paper and pulp plant receives scrap wood from a nearby wood factory as input, while providing sludge for fertilizers, green mud for building materials, as well as wood chips for a charcoal factory. So through a combination of symbiosis and cleaner production, they have actually reduced waste with 98% in this industrial park. Moving on to reuse, which means using for longer. This refers to the extending of resources, products, and infrastructures. We see a great holistic example of this in the South Korean city of Seoul, who declared itself a sharing city already in 2012 and began applying the concepts of sharing economy to its urban policies. This minimized waste of resources while generating economic opportunities and also improving the social sustainability of the city by connecting citizens. So the program includes both public services as well as initiatives, private initiatives providing services such as sustainable and affordable housing, different sharing programs, and also car sharing. And last but not least, we have recover, which means to close the loop. This enables the recovery of materials at their end of life, so it can be reintroduced into the production of new materials and products. And now, in times of rising prices for chemical fertilizer due to the war in Ukraine, the Japanese government has decided to use its own resources through water, turning wastewater sludge into a biofertilizer that can be used on the local farms. So this promotes both self-sufficiency in the country, while at the same time supporting new job opportunities and recovering resources that would otherwise go to waste. And in conclusion, the path towards a circular city may seem very complex and complicated. But many cities around the world have already embarked on this very transformative journey. Despite the initial challenges and uncertainties, they have embraced the concept of circularity and taken the first steps towards creating a more circular city. At Circular Economy, we've had the privilege of working with over 50 cities around the world. They are very courageous, supporting their progress and learning from their experiences. And now we invite you here in Bangladesh to also join this movement of very brave change makers around the world. So let us be brave together, learn by doing from all these circular champions across the world, and create a more prosperous and sustainable future through the power of circular economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kristen, for giving us this great overview of what's happening out there in the world. But as we know with many things, it's about translation of all these concepts into what can work in Dhaka and make Bangladesh and Dhaka take the driver's seat. So this is what we're up to now, to hear what can we do in Dhaka. So first of all, I would like to ask MD Asraful Islam, you are from Rajuk, the town planner. What is your vision for the city of Dhaka, and how can you see that circularity can be part of some of the solutions or some of the problems, and how can it be some of the solutions you're looking for?
Thank you, Your Excellency, and thank you for giving me opportunity to participate here. And thank you for the nice presentation I have seen and what you have done in some of the other countries and globally. As you know, the European situation and Dhaka situation is quite different, because Europe is a less densified city, and Dhaka is a too much high density. So it's a big problem for us. Not only for it's a solid waste system management is there, traffic management system is very difficult for us. On the other side, the climate change, and as you know, seen that you have experienced as a global heat system in Dhaka is now. And actually true, the rural population migrating to Dhaka. At the same time, there is a report published in the newspaper in Delhi Asker Potrika. There is a Bangla newspaper. Now people is migrating from the Dhaka to the rural areas due to some of the urban heat island or some economic situation is there. So it's a challenge for us. What we have seen for the circular cities, what we have planned to do. As you know that the Dhaka's footprint is the 85% area in the Dhaka is the concrete footprint is there. So it's a challenge to preserve the green space and other things. That's we are planning for that. We have already prepared a master plan for the next 20 years for the Dhaka metropolitan region. What we have thinking this for the first time we have introduced the bicycling system in our master plan system. We have identified 1,200 kilometers within the Dhaka metropolitan region is for the bicycling street. At the same time, we have identified 88 local and regional parks within the Dhaka metropolitan region, and we have already taken the initiative to implement this. Already Rajok has initiated to implement one regional park in Karaniganj. This is like as the sponge city in China, like that. And other 4 local parks within the Dhaka, Karaniganj, Gazipur, and Purbachal, New Town area, and other things. And the government of Bangladesh is introducing the green technology, like I said, they have to stop the fire bricks and to how we convert to the non-fire bricks to use the building materials, and how we can incentivize the renewable energy in the building construction technology, or how we can use. At the same time, we are also promoting the TUD, how we can reduce the trip generation within the Dhaka city. That's where incentivize the far incentive to give the city dwellers or the builders to build the construction higher density and higher far they get within the TUD catchment area, like as a transit-oriented development area. This is the incentivize we are planning to do in the. And at the same time, we are also thinking if any builder or even the building occupant is going for the green technology, using the green technology in the building system, or use the non-fire bricks, or they have given some space for the green spaces to the local community, we are giving the more far incentive to the city dwellers. What we are thinking now to achieve the circular system in our city planning system. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Over to one of the most scarce resources in the world, water. Wasa. What are your visions for the city of Dhaka when it comes to water?
Thank you. Now, actually, when we started our journey in 2009, we fixed a vision at that time. What would be the water management system in Dhaka? And that time we fixed it like similar to what you are saying now, that to be the best water utility in the public sector of South Asia through sustainable, pro-people, and an environment-friendly water management system introduction. So that was the vision. And if you like to say what we have achieved in the meantime, I would say at least we have achieved a substantial quantity and in terms of quality. And if you see now that one of the biggest achievements that we made is water consumption and water loss reduction, which is also one of the biggest part for your circular economy. And once upon a time, in this subcontinent, most of the cities have water, NRW, or non-revenue water, or water losses is around 35 to 40%. And we had also like that, but we had reduced it to first 20%, and now, after introducing a completely robust DMA, district metered area distribution network system in Dhaka city, dividing Dhaka into 145 districts, now the NRW has come down to 5%, 6%, which is only few of the, like in Copenhagen, it is 5%. But most of the cities in South Asia, they don't have it, less than 20% even. So that is also one of the ways that we are now managing the Dhaka water system. And reuse is always was one of our motto, and that's what we are doing, which is basically but nothing but what we are talking about, the water, circular water. That means smart water management through circular economy. And if you ask me what's the vision now, and what we have already said, that now we are looking forward for a climate resilient water management system with reusable. That means circularity. And in this reduction, in this context, recently we have established two big treatment plans, sewerage treatment plan, where we have made it I will not say net zero, but decarbonization was one of the main focus. And today, from our waste, we are generating power, as well as just now I was talking to Lafarge. Now we are also generating the fly ash, which are now used in different, cement factories in Bangladesh. And also we are having another treatment plant where we are going to use we are going to produce the biogas. And after that, after incineration of that, partly biogas, then incineration, and after incineration, having the fly ash. So we are trying to use as much as possible the reuse of the thing or waste into the energy or waste, from the waste to the wealth. So this is how we are facing this challenge, and we are hopeful that we'll be able to, in true sense. But one of the things is very important here, the conceptualization of circular economy. I think here we need to some mindset change, which is very much lagging here still. And that is very much required. Just when we were in the last session, we were talking about the use of water in the garments industry. One denim pant needs 250 liter of water, and 120 liter is per person per day consumption in Bangladesh, in Dhaka, what we're calculating. So 2% full day use of water you are spending for one denim production. Now, is there anything to be done? Yes, there are. Because you can use a lot of chemicals now, and you can reduce using, instead of 200 liter of water for one denim, you can use now 50 liter. You can reduce it 4 times. 4-fold reduction is possible. So there also, we need to give attention to the garments industries and others. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And on that last note, I think we know now, and it was said early on, one of the myth bustings, that the technology is there, but we need the incentives to drive, for example, water consumption down. Over to university side of things, and like to hear from you. How do you look at circularity and the city of Dhaka and a future in 2040, 2030? How could a more circular Dhaka look like?
Let's start with whole Bangladesh, not only Dhaka. In Bangladesh, we have at least 12 big cities at city corporation status, and 329 municipalities and 495 upazila towns. All these urban areas are accommodating around 65 million people. So densely populated people are living in these areas. I think these towns, cities, and urban areas have lot of potentiality of circular economy, because I think a lot of things to do in these areas. As in Dhaka city, for example, a very small place of 350 square kilometer, around 20 million people, 22 million people are living in this area. So it's a huge, densely populated areas. So cities are the highest concentration of people, economy, and as well as pollution and consumption. So I think our cities and towns have a lot of potentiality for circular economy, and especially in the construction sector, in the water sector, transport sector, and I think these sectors has a lot of potentiality for circular economy.
Thank you very much. Over to the Ministry of the Environment. How do you see you can play a role in making sure that we have more circular and livable cities?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, and greetings from the Department of Environment. If you just want to listen something from me about the circularity, we would like to focus it on two issues mainly, which are we used to deal when we live in the cities. First day is the waste management issues. And the waste management issues are mostly here in this Dhaka city are addressed by our two city corporations, Dhaka North City and Dhaka South City corporations. And what is the role of us here in that case? What we are doing here we have a huge amount of waste generated in this city in a day. And specifically, we are focusing on the plastic pollution in this city particularly. As you know that in the 5th of June, we have celebrated the World Environment Day, where the plastic solutions to plastic pollution, be it plastic pollutions, were the focus mainly. So in Dhaka city, if you can imagine that we used to produce around 680 metric tons of plastic waste in a day. 680. It's a huge amount out of 3,000 waste generated, tons of waste generated. So in that case, we are working with the two city corporations. I can share one development in that issue, that the main concept of this circularity from our perspective is that waste will be the resource. Waste from one sector would be the wealth or resource for another sector, would be the raw material for another sector. In that issue, we are working with the plastic pollution things. We are introducing extended producer responsibility guidelines under our rules here. And we are also working with the Green Credit Scheme. It's a scheme which will be generated by Bangladesh Bank. And as you know, any green issue is the precursor of the circularity concept. So from that perspective, we are working actively in the concept of circularity. Another issue is the water pollution from the industrial sectors. So we are promoting our industries to have the concept of zero liquid discharge. That is, the wastewater you will be generating in your industry, you have to have the mechanism to reuse it in your vicinity so that it will not be discharged, whether treated or untreated, to the natural water bodies. So that is one issue, and we are working with, and we are promoting the issue anyway. And another issue I'd like to share with you that, and regarding the pollution, air pollution, we are actually badly impacted by the air pollution almost all the time. So in that case, we are promoting the use of blocks, as my colleague from the Rajuk was telling that, instead of burnt bricks. And we are promoting this is throughout the country in our government constructions as well. So these are the way we are promoting issues. Otherwise, we are also working with the clean development mechanism. It's a worldwide approach where you can trade off carbon with the world community. It's a carbon trading mechanism. The main thing for the cities, if we want to have a circular economy, or as a whole, if we want to have a clean environment in the big picture, we need some kind of better awareness and action from our end. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think, lots of good initiatives, a lot is happening. I think one of the big challenges with circularity is that no one actor can do this. Yeah. We need all the actors in play. Technology is great, not without the incentives, etc. We need municipalities being very active. We need companies. We need citizens also to follow this. But maybe, Kristen, from you've worked on this globally, and I'll give you the microphone. But can you tell us what are some of the key success criteria that you have seen works and that we can learn from here in Dhaka?
Thank you very much. And first of all, I would just like to start by saying also that cities are a great opportunity to actually join forces between all these sectors. The urban planning processes, they combine all these sectors that we need, that can enable all these things that we've been discussing today. The textile industry, we need to have workers that have fair living conditions, that will be able to work in a good way. We need the waste management facilities in order to create these textile industries to take care of the waste products that can be facilitated to another industry. So the cities are really at the crosspoint of all these discussions that we have here today. The cities are the prerequisite and the foundation for all of the successes of all those sectors. And with that said, also the key ingredients is foremost, I would say, the political buy-in. So to have circular economy high up on the political agenda is crucial to create the momentum, to join stakeholders, and to put circular economy at the top, not only in the city at large, but also across the local administration. And this will also make sure that we have the allocated resources to actually put the circular economy at the top, and to make sure that it's enabled across the local administration. And then we have also seen that it's very important to know the current situation before moving into action. So you need to understand what are the current resource flows of your city? What is the baseline assessment of circularity in your city currently? And when you know that, when you know the resource flow, you know where the biggest impact can be made, then you can set out roadmaps with actions and stakeholders with roles and responsibilities, and also put these actions on a timeline to know where should you start, what should be the next step, and how do we reach a circular future at the end. And then we also have, of course, in order to achieve this, we need collaboration. So we need collaboration across these sectors that we have discussed here today, but also with the citizen. We need it with the scientific committee. We need it with the private sectors. We need it with all the industries that we've discussed. So to bring everyone on board towards a circular future is crucial, so that we have a shared ownership. We know where we should go together, and where we can share these roles and responsibilities across the different sectors. And then finally, we see a great importance of governance. So to have the right governance structure where we can also facilitate these collaborations also between the city departments, where we can break the silos between our sectors, where we can bring a joint effort towards a circular city, where we find synergies between all these sectors. With a clear governance, we also provide clarity and clearance. So by setting roles and responsibilities and strategies, we can make sure that we reach the shared goal, but
with incentives that are long-term. This is a long journey, so we need clarity and stability from the governance in order to reach this. We see it step by step. We cannot reach a circular city tomorrow, but we can take a first step.
Amazing, thank you very much. And just a short reflection from my point, coming from the city of Copenhagen. Looking back at this 10 years ago, we knew the dangers of air pollution. And when it was debated whether or not we should have filters on big trucks, etc., the Minister for the Environment say, I need this, right? The business case in terms of savings in hospital expenses is pretty clear. Then the Minister for Transport is sitting over here. Sorry, this is not my table. I can't do this. It's outside my area. So that silo thinking, I think sustainability in general has been hurt by that we have a purchasing department and a sustainability department. So I think governance, leadership that cuts across different ministries, cuts across different stakeholders, I think is vital for this to happen. And now we are walking into shark-infested waters because lunch is coming up. So just final remarks from the panelists. Yes.
Yeah. Three gentlemen from the government side. I am from academia. They already said about some prospect and their plan about Dhaka. Let's talk about something that other side of the moon. There are, I mean, a lot of things are going wrong, actually. For example, Engineer Taksin, he is from Wasa. We are still depending on groundwater. And you can see the air pollution, the level of air pollution in Dhaka, water pollution in Dhaka, and traffic congestion, most I think, ugly side of this city. And you came from a champion city, which is from, architect Ian Gale. He has designed a lot of public spaces there. So we have a lot of challenges in Dhaka city, for example, and also other cities of Bangladesh. In all the urban areas in Bangladesh, we are mostly dependent on groundwater. I think there should be a change. We have to shift on something new, innovative idea, for example, rainwater harvesting and surface water. This is one side. And for circular economy, I think we should work in the research side, innovation, and we need a lot of cooperation. A lot of examples, champion examples around the globe we can see, but we have to contextualize in our country and our environment so that we can do that. And other important point, what I can make, that is we need some entrepreneur and government incentive for this kind of effort. Otherwise, we cannot be successful.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he rightly spoke. That's what the use of water, what we are using mostly underground at this moment. But actually, our vision is already there to shift from the underground to the surface water. And of course, we are already shifting it. But of course, as he has already told, there's a lot of challenges are there because migration of the people in Dhaka city is so forced. And so, number of migration is beyond the control. And what already the mayor told. Because, as he told that in Dhaka city, we have now 47,000 people per square kilometer, which is not only the densely most, but also difference from the first and the second is huge. Second largest densely populated is 25,000 people. It is Mumbai. So from 25,000 and the first one is 47,000, almost double. So this is the biggest challenge. Of course, we have to overcome those challenges, and we are overcoming. And also in the water sector, another big challenge is that unplanned city management and unplanned city development. Because Bangladesh, when it became independent in 1972, this city was basically the capital of a province. Then all of a sudden it became the capital of a country. And also As you know, the most development, fortunately or unfortunately, is concentrated on the capital base. And that's also one of the reasons why the influx of people is too high. And that is one of the biggest challenge, at least from our side, I can say, in the water sector. But the good news is that we are overcoming that. At this moment, we can easily speak that in Dhaka city, unlike many other cities in surrounding, we do have 24/7 water. We do have qualitative water, and our NRW or non-revenue is too low, and the operating ratio is excellent. So that's only that we have achieved, and we are of course looking forward for more. Thank you.
Any final quick comments?
Morten, from the audience.
Oh, sorry.
Before you go for the final round, can I just chip in 30 seconds?
Yes, 30 seconds.
To make it spicy before we go for lunch. Which is, I mean, we know, Mr. Taksim Khan, we know the difficulties. I'm not to put any difficulty to you, because this is a fascinating phase of Bangladesh, frankly, all four of them. I mean, getting them under one roof is a challenge, but thank you very much for that. We know that the problems of Dhaka city. When I talked in Europe, when people hear that Rotterdam having 0.6 million people, they say, oh my God, it's a big city. I said, come to Dhaka, you'll get a shock of your life. Point is that we know the problems in Dhaka, Chittagong and others. My submission to all four of you, can we look at the ones which are around 500,000 right now, so that we do not repeat or fall into repetition of the challenges that we are facing today in Dhaka, so that we can save those tier 2 or tier 3 cities, sir. So maybe after this conversation, I know I heard Professor Mahmood, but I just wanted to, I felt very compelled to flag this as a citizen of the country. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Final remarks.
I mean, the point is that we heard the circle economy, Ola. So after this, if you work with some, so that on societal innovation, not the technological, if you could come to Mr. Taksim Khan, Professor Mahmood, or to Mr. Ashraf, and say that because they are the people who are moving things, if they can bring a slight innovation, slight changes and tweaks, that can make phenomenal difference, which you can't expect, frankly, elsewhere in Europe. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Final, last, quick comments. Yep.
Yeah, just to supplement him, actually. The thing is that actually, if you have a glass of water, it's okay. If you have full glass of water, somebody will say that it is half empty, somebody will say that half full. I'm in favor of half full of that one. The thing is that actually, if you, as he was asking about that one, if you just look back 10 years back, there was no system of collection of garbage from the Dhaka cities as what we have now at this moment. And that triggered the establishment of the secondary transfer stations as well. And what they're doing now, the Dhaka Now City Corporation is now engaging one company. They will take all the garbages from the Dhaka North City Corporation secondary stations, and they will convert it to energy, 42.5 megawatt energy per day from that waste material. So these are the issues happening around us. And I can tell you that one thing that I probably, it has been covered in the first session. Circularity, circular economy issues are in our backbone of the economy. When we talk about our 5-year plan, which is the central of our all economic activities, it is right there. So it is the government initiative which is ensured. The only thing is that our initiative is there. And I can tell you another thing is that we are addressing these issues, as I have told earlier, that's a green credit scheme, and we are also in terms of improving the pollution of this Dhaka city, we are taking comprehensive projects which will be starting from next month that will address many issues. I'm afraid I don't have time to explain here. So hope for the best. I think nothing to be disappointed. The only thing we need is a bit awareness from all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Final comment?
Thank you. Yes, for to build a sustainable communities and circular cities, there is a political commitment is necessary. So there is a political commitment from the government high up. It's already given us the direction to introduce some of the green technology and other things. We are working on it. We are thinking to revise our building construction rules to incorporate some of the issues in rainwater harvesting, renewable energy, solid waste system management, and the introduction and the sanitary system, the STP system in the building complexes. So what we are thinking, what was missing basically, this was the joint collaboration with the academician, like as from the government side, we are too much busy on the daily-to-daily works. We are not much more time for the social innovation system and on the joint collaboration. Now, last 6 months, I am working on it from the Rajuk side, like as the Capital Development Authority. We are involving some of the renowned university in our country to give some of the issues, what we are thinking to implement it. Then we are giving some of the topics to the academician. They are giving the assignment to their research student. They are working on it, and they are giving the presentation to us. Then we find a solution. Then we want to implement it. We are working on the social housing system and some of the other system. We have a joint collaboration with the Bangladesh University of Engineering and Technology. We are giving some of the assignment to them. I think that we are working on it. I am hopeful that maybe the near future, but it takes time. We are hopeful that we wanted to build our circular economy in our inbuilt system. Thank you.
Thank you very much, speakers. I think this panel shows clearly the opportunities, what's happening out there in the world, what's happening here in Dhaka.
Just one more point.
Oh, that has to be a fast one.
Yeah. I think people are in Bangladesh, people are resilient and tremendous, have adaptive capacity. They need a business model, I think. That business model can change the whole story in a very fast and rapid way.
And now I have to respond a little bit just to that, because I agree, but the business model has to be for everybody. Because if it's in silos, they will do this thing that's good for maybe closing that little loop. But we need to close all of the loop. Yeah. And for that business model to be truly strong, we need to be united and understand why it's best for all stakeholders. So I think, as you said, and that's why you're here, why we have all the audience representing different stakeholders, we need to work together on this. And we need, of course, to go beyond what was said here. So I just hope we'll see you on stage in a year from now. You can talk about what you are already doing, but also the new initiatives that have come up, because you have talked today, you've met people in the room, you said let's form more partnerships, because we need that to accelerate the good work already happening. So thank you very much, speakers. It's been a pleasure to moderate all of you. Best of luck.